Good evening, everyone. Uh, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to World Human Sciences and Management Conference 2021 and 22. This is Rudra Narayan Das, Executive Director, Center for ADIVASI Research and Development. We are proud to announce that this conference is conducted along with Indian Institute of Management, Sambalpur, Central University of Odisha, Koraput, and Ravenshaw University, Odisha, Cuttack. We are very much concerned with a review of the evolutionary changes in the older fields that are being stimulated by the development of new procedures, instruments, and perspectives. Ladies and gentlemen, the broader theme of this conference is agnotological context, disciplinary practices of social sciences and policy frames. On behalf of our center, I extend my profound gratitude to our patrons, respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Sanjay Kumar Naik, Ravenshaw University, respected Director, Indian Institute of Management, Professor Mahadev Joysal, and Professor Sarat Kumar Pallita, respected Vice Chancellor, Central University of Odisha. I welcome our speaker for today, Honorable Vice Chancellor of IIU, Professor Corina Sujdea, and participants across the globe through Facebook and YouTube Live who are watching us here. The convener of this largest virtual conference, eminent Indian historian, Professor Chandi Prasad Nanda, and eminent policy activist, writer, and philanthropist, Mr. Charudat Panigrahi. Dear friends, the main outcome of this conference is to come up with a national and international framework for the education system in the future. The crux of this conference will be the use of digital technologies such as artificial intelligence and augmented reality and virtual reality that is being increasingly adopted after the outbreak of COVID-19. We hope this conference would help students, faculties, researchers, and all to expand their mental horizon and help the education system to adopt the best in future. Ladies and gentlemen, our Center for ADIVASI Research and Development, CARD, is a leading research-oriented institution promoting ethnographic, empirical, and evidence-based research for engaging and addressing the challenges that 21st century globe is facing today. The prime agenda of this institution is to come up with potential policy solutions for social change while believing in the idea of 3D, debate, dialogue, and discussion, and with expertise, experiencing, and education. The institution focus on marginalized communities and work for their livelihood to protect nature, culture, language, and identity in particular. The age of modernity has witnessed that change is the only constant phenomenon for societal purpose to enhance knowledge. Our information work for them is methodical and avoids paradoxically frameworks which is neglected so many centuries from theory to become practice. Our center believes in the concept of social marketing, which is seriously looking for non-profit marketing and builds new social entrepreneurship for check and balance mechanism to glorify generations to come. Center for ADIVASI Research and Development come to serve with the holistic approach of critical thinking in education to fill the gaps and plan accordingly for the voiceless communities. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's symposia, we have with us Professor Corina Sujdea. Professor Sujdea is the formerly country director of International Youth Society, a committee member of EduCloud's United Kingdom, a country director of Eco Training Center Sweden, and a co-founder of the Worldwide Green Project and a founder of International Cultural Passport. Before she became a board member of International Internship University and also an international ambassador, Professor Corina was a keynote speaker in many international conferences and also involved in many webinars, workshops, and trainings, and an activist of human rights and a peace ambassador of Romania. Professor Corina got Global Award for Innovation in Education in 2015, Peace Award in 2020, and Best Teacher Award in January 2021. Professor Corina have worked on a number of international projects as a partner, coordinator, or partner in many e-twinning projects since 2009, and also an Erasmus coordinator of 3 in European countries and projects. Turkey, she got fund from European Union, and this gave her the chance to take her students abroad in various mobilities in different countries across the Europe. Professor Corina also worked as a partner with colleagues from India, Nepal, Egypt, Yemen, Morocco, Pakistan, and other countries for international school hour. To this end, she developed with many activities on various topics, and even many Skypes, Zooms, and sessions. She also the country director of International Youth Services, and presently Professor Corina is served as the Vice Chancellor of International Internship University. Welcome, Professor Corina, to World Human Sciences and Management Conference. Above all, Professor Corina is a very talented teacher. To have you in our conference, we are very proud. Professor Corina will deliver a talk in the topic of roles of the institutions in crisis of pandemic world. So now, without taking much time, I would like to invite Professor Corina Sujdea to initiate her talk. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for your nice introduction. When I listen what you say, I find that you are talking about another person, not about me. But yes, it's me, Corina Sujdea from Romania. It's a pleasure to be here today with all of you. I would like to start tonight with a short video, and after that I will proceed with my presentation. Yes, so as you can see from my video, there is talking about equality in different parts of the world. Is there equality in spread awareness about COVID-19? That's why institutions' role is very, very important. And now I would like to share my screen again with all of you. And today we are talking about the role of the institutions in crisis of pandemic world. I'm Corina Sujdea, International Educator and Vice Chancellor of IAU. We'll start with a short introduction. As all of us know, on the last day of 2019, pneumonia cases unknown etiology from Wuhan City, Hubei province, were reported to China's World Health Organization, WHO, country office. The number of the cases increased, and the source was thought to be related with the seafood market in Wuhan City. The causative agent was isolated on January 7, 2020, and identified as a new type coronavirus. After 1 month had passed from the first cases of the 2019 COVID outbreak, later named as SARS-CoV-2, WHO declared the outbreak as a public health emergency of international concern and provided advice to the global community to control the outbreak on January 30. Almost more than 1 month later, it was declared as a controllable pandemic on March 2019. We are talking about pandemic world since 2019, and even nowadays we are more in this pandemic world. Nobody can be fully prepared to a pandemic. Of course, there are signs of it. The scientists can predict, alarming speeches can be made, papers can be written. But there are always alarmist people around. Maybe that is why sometimes even the most serious warnings may not be heard by authorities on time. The first patients may be lost without a proper diagnosis. When everybody realizes there may be a big problem in the horizon, sometimes it is too late. That is why it is very important to monitor contagious diseases and follow the warnings and releases of national and international disease control centers and other related organizations. But what happens if they are also late? Because they are sometimes, isn't it? In terms of COVID-19, the first cases were reported from Wuhan on the last day of 2019. People were celebrating New Year all over the world. First, the new disease attracts attention of the scientists, medical world, then media and all world. The number of the cases increased dramatically and the speed of the curve became high. Still, many believed that it would be a limited outbreak too. Nobody seemed to expect this new viral pneumonia outbreak emerging in Wuhan to break the chains and turn out to be a pandemic. But unfortunately, it happens with the world. That's why local authorities, start to think and plan Besides the international organizations like WHO, UNESCO, and UNICEF, the roles of local authorities, health ministries, other ministries, agencies, disease control centers, health and protection agencies, research centers, and universities are all very important in different operational levels to control and survive from the pandemic. This paper will review the immediate response of different national and international institutions to COVID-19 pandemic. How can globalizations be governed? There are benefits by being increased and sustained while ensuring that its costs are kept within acceptable bands. Ever-evolving technologies have enabled globalization to become a powerful force. This presents a number of challenging collective actions, dilemmas ranging from global pandemic to climate change. Peter Nicholson's webinar and the policy briefing delve into various models for governing globalizations, with special attention paid to how each of the models might address the future of globalization or in the context of the COVID-19 crisis. And here in this table, you can see how such of institutions or coordinations was working and what is the percent of what they did. For example, coordinating preparation of cabinet meetings, and you can see more than 70%, and policy analysis, which is under 10%, unfortunately. One of the institutions who must take decisions and must do something in a pandemic period, it's World Health Organization, WHO. We all know that from 1948 till now, these organizations has been working on to promote health, keep the world safe, and serve vulnerable people. There are 115 countries of offices in the world, and more than 7,000 people from more than those 115 countries are working under WHO. Besides many, one of their goal is also to improve monitoring, data, and information. As WHO stated in its website, they analyze data, provide advice, coordinate with partners, help countries prepare, increase supplies, and manage expert networks. That is why WHO was the center of the news from the first time on. Besides situations reports, WHO also provide information under different topics, like media resources, advice for public, travel advice, technical guidance, training, and exercises. All are very, very important to reach correct and undated information during a global outbreak. Training and exercises sections provided online COVID-19 training and simulation exercises plus simulation package in several languages. From the treatment facility designed to infection prevention and control measures, a broad range of online training are provided, which are extremely important, especially for those countries which lack enough professionals in the area. Another organizations which is important is disease control and prevention centers and health protection agencies. As an immediate response to COVID-19 pandemic, SDS provided useful tools for both public and health professionals. How to protect yourself, what to do if you are sick are the immediate titles when you open their website, which are the most important topics for the public in an outbreak. To cope with the pandemic, keeping home environment safe and cleaning, keeping healthy life were all among the useful advices for the public. Extra precautions and a self-checker guide are also provided. When the number of COVID-19 cases increased dramatically, SDS advised that the surgical masks should be kept for medical staff, and they provided brochures and videos on how to make cloth face covering for the public. The US Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams can be seen on a video to show how to prepare homemade masks. Still, there were also reactions from many US citizens criticizing lack of masks in an outbreak in a country which is economic in the number one in the world. SDC also provide brief and useful informations. Of course, giving professional guidance for population and healthcare professionals are extremely important in a pandemic period to prevent chaos. The panic level of the population is usually high in a pandemic, so controlling the false and misguided information in social media, it's not an easy task. Having a trustworthy information source is very, very important. Outbreaks cause panic not only in the public, but also among the professionals as well. The infection control teams and infectious diseases, physicians may be exhausted during the pandemic. All the caregivers should know at least the basics of infection control. A physician may be a very good nephrologist, but they need what to do in their dialysis facilities in such of pandemic period for infection control. Providing brief information about using personal protective equipment and hand hygiene, as well as sharing the updated epidemiological features of the disease, are all extremely useful. So for what SDS is and stand. Of course, another institutions which is important in a pandemic period is Ministry of Health and Parliaments. Ministry of Health of countries are in the core of the organizations during a pandemic. Different countries' health ministries and parliaments' response to pandemic was reviewed, where provided information in detail in table 1, and you may see in this table. For example, for students, there was poor internet access, no laptops or any devices, excessive exposure to digital devices, and so on, stress. For teachers, lack of training. Of course, no one of us as teachers didn't know how to keep online lessons, because we never did before, yes. Lack of technical know-how. I believe maybe we are good in IT, good in the sense of to do something for myself, but to provide education in online and virtual way, it's not a very easy task. For this, of course, it needs teachers who are want to do this, who want to learn and to train their students in this way. Of course, also was problems in administrations, and you can see some points here in that table. Another institutions very important in a pandemic period, it's education authorities. And you can see in this table how was affected parts of the world in education. We know that COVID-19 pandemic also affected the continuing education and education institutions. Primary and secondary schools were temporarily closed in most countries, so do the higher education institutions and medical schools. According to UNESCO, the 91% of world student population was affected from these nationwide closures. There were also countries in them localized closures were implemented. The more vulnerable and disadvantaged communities were affected more from outbreak because they could not continue with remote or distance learning. There was also challenges faced in a virtual teaching learning. COVID-19 pandemic engulfed various countries abruptly, and the education sector with no prior preparation was crippled across the globe. Two immediate efforts were made for undisrupted teaching learning. It brought numerous challenges for students, teachers, as well as administration of educational institutions. As a measure to curb the spread of the life-threatening coronavirus, gatherings were restricted in most countries, and therefore physical classes in educational institutions were suspended. According to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organizations, in 2021, 166 countries observed closure of their educational institutes by March 2020, which impacted 83.7% of the world's learners. For this, we need schools, all the schools, to have to be helped by different others, like family, like technology. We have to provide our schools. For example, in Romania, our government provide laptops or tablets to all the students who has no devices at home. Out of school programs. Of course, this pandemic affect employers and business. We have to stay connected with health and social protection agencies and also with community institutions. Importance of the universities. Even with so many uncertainties, universities must respond and keep moving. Leadership in higher education institutions must still make decisions and provide answers on a daily basis. And the best way to proceed is to allow the mission of the institution to serve as the main compass while considering the needs of all the people the institutions serves. While the importance of higher education is starting to be appreciated again, higher education institutions still face major internal challenges and new problems every day. Even without clear answers, decisions must be made, and we will only know if the best decisions were made in the future. That's why International Internship University, IIU, has focused on coming up with the best solutions. And I would ask you to watch this short video.
Today is your opportunity to build the tomorrow you want. An internship is a very important aspect of every course of the International Internship University, the first virtual global internship university. An internship is the beginning of a career to get work experience, which helps the students to get good job opportunities. Piyush Pandit, the founder of the International Internship University, always says that internships by IIU not only show the right path and train the students to choose the perfect job, but also gives earning opportunity while learning, by providing internship opportunities. Let's see how internships by International Internship University make education free. Students take admissions with IIU as per their wish and want, and avail courses. We offer paid internship opportunities to the students, with corporate sector and topmost organizations, at the national and international levels. Earning with online learning is what IIU offers to every learner. Students can easily pay their course fees from their income, without any financial stress on their families. Online learning through the learning management system simultaneously with internship is the exclusivity of education by International Internship University. IIU provides internships that vary from 1 week to 1 year or more. Internships by IIU are either part-time or full-time, as per the needs and requirements of the course undertaken by the student. IIU offers free, as well as paid internships. IIU gives the option to its students to opt for virtual internship, away from real-world office experience. In the physical internships by IIU, students get the experience of working in the office, interacting with other staff, and knowing the work culture. IIU is collaborated with topmost MNC and corporate sectors to provide paid internships to its learners. Corporate internships offer diverse experiences, and placements at all levels are more likely to pay their interns. It's been great for students looking to gain work experience and up to date on some of the latest technology and trends in the office. Otherwise, students can enroll for the unpaid with NGOs, universities, hospitals, government offices, embassy if they desire to. The internship opportunity by IIU is the best example of a real-time learning experience for the students. And yes, students can choose a country-wise education system through IIU. Students can choose not only certificate and diploma courses but also the graduation and post-graduation courses. IIU is not only offering internship opportunities but also providing 1,000+ degree, certificate, diploma and various other courses to its learners across the world. If suppose, students wish to study with any specific university, college or school in any part of the world, IIU has the solution with all possible options and opportunities, as IIU has academic collaboration with the world's topmost UGC-approved universities and colleges through massive open online courses. High school students, graduates, undergraduates, researchers and others who are willing to do can avail internship at IIU. Internship opportunities by IIU build a strong resume. It provides work experience, along with knowledge-based practical, to be the expertise of the field. It enhances skills such as communication, teamwork, IT proficiency, professionalism, and building confidence. IIU internships help to develop a professional network, enable to understand the work culture, reality of the job profile, and hence to explore the desired career path. The 4 councils by IIU Women Entrepreneurs Council, International Council of Educators, International Students Development Council and International Youth Development Council extend its support towards women, students, youths and educators for their growth and progress. The Research Center by IIU welcomes students, interns, researchers, educators, and everyone who is willing to avail research opportunities with IIU. IIU thus is a unique hub of education and knowledge. Under one roof of IIU, a student can avail education of his choice, with research and internship opportunities. Education model by IIU not only provides the students to choose the right institution with good career opportunities, but also internship opportunities. As rightly said by the founder, Piyush Pandit, internship by IIU is just like footprints in the sand. Each step signifies the journey taken, lands you the affair of your dreams.
So what IIU provide? IIU provide lifelong learning. Our mission is to achieve excellence in the field of virtual education at an affordable price and free education for the underprivileged, reaching every child at every doorstep across the world. Provision of informative online and virtual education by maintaining the global quality that meets the teaching and learning needs of the IIU's academic and research community, a gateway of success to one's desired profession by eliminating all the possible hurdles, an opportunity for students to gain experience and also to get guidance from mentors across the globe. We all know that Oscar Wilde said education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing worth knowing can be taught. International Internship University, IIU, is building a better and brighter future for all young learners and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. IIU is metamorphosing the conventional education system by cutting down the additional costs and providing access to more than 1,000 courses and internship to their e-learners across 195 countries and 6 continents throughout the year with over 150 offices around the world. International Internship University is united in the commitment to provide exclusively free education to all the children and the youth of this world under this global hub. IIU has been accredited and affiliated with the World Education Organizations and International Accreditation Organization and collaborated with all the world's top universities and educational institutions through the platform of massive open online courses. IIU provides various certificates, including diploma, graduation, post-graduation diploma, post-graduation courses, and honorary doctorates. IIU has received many accreditations as per international standards for their innovation, vision, creative ideas, research, and white papers publication. IIU is the first global virtual university offering quality, accessible, and location-independent education around in all areas, including Sustainable Development Goals courses, accredited to youths across the globe to develop youth empowerment through the SDGs Mission 2030, with a spirit from IIU's Swarna Bharat Parivar. A trust initiated in 2010 has been working towards the objective of recognizing the social and community needs to create change and awareness on all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of UNE towards the massive development within the world's communities. IIU SBP is supporting and working for welfare of education in more than 4 countries with more than 1 lakh volunteers. Is accepting sponsorship towards their educational development of IIU from funding organizations globally. A few of the SBP's ongoing projects are A-Village, Gaugram, Youth Development, Namami Ganj, Annadata, Handicapped Welfare, Sustainable Development Goals, and many others. You can see here some things about IIU. We believe in inspiring, inventing, igniting young minds. The sample of course fee structure in IIU. You may notice that we have courses for 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Some of them are free and some of them are paid. The payment, it's not very high, I believe. We provide also training and development module like mentoring, coaching, job rotation, internship, and for job training, video conferencing, distance learning, simulations, learning program as well. Our format or model, as you see, we are going from formal training and approach training and workshops, induction programs, expert panel and forum, and activities, clear syllabus, module, interactive learning, shared knowledge, value and skill practice, pre and post evaluation, and some roles with related parties to develop and facilitate different programs. You may see the format maybe like talent development program, work-based training, information based campaign, I have also a program in IAU. It's called BCAP, the biggest interactive knowledge exchange program. There was involved last December, maybe 100 schools from across the world and 100 students for 30 days. Was a big program, and for this we are going on with BCAP 2, and this month we will start also BCAP 3, so I waiting you to join us. Few words from our founder. Piyush Pandit said, "My dream and motto is to achieve excellence in the field of virtual education at affordable fee and free education for the underprivileged, reaching to every child at every doorstep across the world." Also, Piyush Pandit said, "We don't want to take education, to take students to education, but we want to take education to every student." Provision and promotion of informative online and virtual education services through maintaining global quality that meets the research, learning and teaching needs of the university's academic and research community. Dr. Piyush Pandit, co-founder and COO of International Internship University. If you want to contact us here, you can find our numbers and also the website. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Corina, for a very deliberating talk. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Nupur Patnaik for a quick comment.
A very good evening and good morning. So thank you, Dr. Rudra, the Executive Director of CARD, Center for Adivasi Research. So first of all, I'm really enlightened, ma'am, Professor Corina, to hear this particular topic that is on role of the institutions in the crisis of pandemic world. So this is a very great topic because institutions were necessary and the relevance was required during this pandemic times. Because as you said from the very beginning about the masks, about the health institutions and how they had a very important role in eradicating the virus, and basically the health institutions were the forefront in the pandemic, and they were a kind of eradicating a lot of issues because pandemic is health oriented, and health was to control the pandemic. Health institutions were very necessary, and there are also several aspects that you have talked about. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your enlightening deliberation on the institutions and their relevance during these times of crisis. I think we have a question, how to make virtual education universally accessible when most the regions of the third world countries like India, those who are facing the problem of digital divide, so far as the problem of internet connectivity and smart devices are concerned.
Come on, so, you can say the India is on the third. No, I don't believe this. Sorry, because there are a lot of institutions and a lot of platforms who provide such of education, virtual education. Yes, of course, I know. In many areas, not only in India, even in my country, there are villages where students do not have access to internet, do not have devices to connect to internet. It's difficult. But for these are those organizations, institutions which I talked about, and one of them it's education minister. Yes, and education minister must provide devices, must provide opportunities to all the students in their countries, because education must be free and must be equal shared to all the students, not only to those who has, I don't know, a rich family, for example. To make a joke, you pronounce my name wrong, but it's still okay because many people pronounce my name as Corona, not Corina. so it's okay. How to make virtual education universally accessible? Yes, Education
Thank you, ma'am.
Minister, most welcome.
Now I'd like to invite Dr. Jena if he has some queries. Professor Corina.
And something else, I will reply to Mr. Subam or Mrs. Subam question. It's our duty as parents, as family, to provide accessible education to our children. We have children not only to what? To be our future, who will help us when we will grow old. We must provide to our children this facility. We must do sacrifice if there is need, and to be sure that my child have the same chance with the child of the president of the country, for example. It's my view.
Dr. Jena, please.
Thank you so much, madam, for your wonderful enlightening session, and you gone through the pandemic issues, crisis related to how institutional crises happened. These are all very important point raised by you through your presentation. I would like to more some lights from you. How do you look at when you are working on India, Nepal, and Pakistan? How do you look at the South Asian challenges due to the pandemic crisis in our universities particular? And then I would like to ask more questions related to ground in terms of these migrant workers. How do you look particular in terms of the migrant workers, students, and what is your suggestions and advice for them how to overcome this situation in terms of if we will face any more pandemic crisis in future further? Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I would like to start with the first point you raised about Indian students and Indian teachers. Do you know what? I'm working with Indian teachers for so many years. Maybe 2009 was the first time when I was connected with a school in India. I can notice that Indian teachers are very good in IT. It's one point. Another point is that they are, how to say, they are willing to learn. And they do everything it's possible from their side. For example, I meet teachers who make a YouTube channel, own YouTube channel, and upload there the lessons and send the links to their students. Another one take the television in his classroom. Another one, by his money, you hear very well, by his money, digitalize his classroom. I mean, he put there a computer, and he has internet connection there, and he connected with students from across the world. This is one point, yes? So congratulations to all of you, Indian people. I really appreciate all of you, for what you do for education. The second point, sorry, about the students, you asked something. Can you repeat, please? Mr. Bikram? I don't know exactly what
Dr.
was
Jena, please you repeat your second question.
something about the students, but
Okay.
Yes, madam. I would like to ask about your suggestions and advice for our university model, particularly in South Asian context. Those are belongs to the migrant laborers and the workers community. How do you overcome from this pandemic issues related in future perspective? If this pandemic is continue for more 5 years or 10 years, if you can assume, then what kind of suggestion you give to particular this lower income sector of the society? Those are belongs to very marginalized or very
Got it.
poverty
Got
kind
it.
of family. Yeah.
Yes. First of all, I am a very positive person and all the time optimistic. I can see in every bad situation something positive, something good. For example, you can see many people nowadays who help others who has not possibilities. Also, government, it's going to help all the people who face such of problems. Of course, not all of them are very lucky, but I believe if I do something from my side, you are doing something from your side, and my neighbor is doing something from his side, we can together go over this pandemic. Because you know, the pandemic period, it's not only now. There was many pandemic periods over the last, I don't know, 100 years or 200. But people overcome by helping each other, by stand by each other. So I believe everything should start with us, with my help, with your help, with your colleague hand, and so on. Government is also important, maybe the most important, because it's the only institutions who may provide facilities for such of people. But not all the time government provide what they need. That's why I said let's handle hands together, and why not let's help our neighbors if they need our help, because we don't know, maybe tomorrow we can be instead of them and we will need their help. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. If someone want to ask question to Professor Corina, please ask directly.
We
Okay,
talk
ma'am.
about the role of institutions, but actually in each institutions there are people behind, yes, who are working. So we are talking about human being.
Ma'am, my question is, whenever we're talking about child education, especially in South Asian countries, in this pandemic, how the school, you know that the school, elementary schools are closed still since two years approximately. So, is there any kind of development in the education system to provide them education without opening the physical classroom?
I told you before, I find something positive in each negative situation. But yes, for child education, I believe classroom education is much better than virtual education. For higher education, it's easy. They are adolescents. They are very familiar with internet, with all the platforms there. The bigger ITist I can see. I have a son, he is 14 years old and he is very good, very good in internet, more than me. I also learn a lot of things from him, and not only. But for child education, I don't know, maybe we should think to have schools, for example, government can provide many teachers and one teacher to work with 4-5 students. Maybe not in the school. Maybe there are not locations for such of things. But we must find solutions. Somehow we must find solutions. For example, in a home of a student, there may be, and I believe this is happened nowadays in India, maybe 4 or 5 neighbor students, and the teachers will go there and will provide them face-to-face education. It's difficult, but not impossible. It's my belief.
Ma'am, another question. What is your take on the areas, countries like Syria and Afghanistan, which countries are very much faced kind of terrorism and all kind of activities? What is your take on the children of these countries? How they will fight with this pandemic, and also how can we improve their education system with the help of a global organization, as you mentioned in your PPT, that there are major roles to play, kind of the World Health Organization and other educational institutions, how they should promote education in these areas, and especially whenever there are so many kind of refugees are migrated to different countries, how we are improving their education. What is your take on it, ma'am?
First of all, I believe such of students from Syria, from Yemen, from different countries where there it's war since many years ago. Those students are in a pandemic period for so long, not because of COVID-19, not because of other diseases, but because of what happened there. So education, as I know, in 2000, I don't know, 15, 14, like this, in Yemen, schools was closed, teachers was not allowed to teach, they don't get their salary and so on. For this, I believe the world powers must do something, because no one can interfere there. What can I do? What can you do in such a situation? Not very much, not very much. But UNICEF and United Nations states and I don't know, some institutions must find solutions for such of students, because they really need the same opportunity. They don't do anything wrong, anything. So why they don't have the same access to education? Why? It's a pity.
Ma'am, what is your take and what kind of differences you find in the European education system and specifically in the South Asian education system, basically in the sector of primary education?
As I noticed in my collaboration with many schools from India and not only, in Romania, curriculum is very developed. I mean, for example, what a students learn here in grade 1, your students in India learn in grade 4, maybe. It's a difference, but after all, if you look at them, they are at the same age. They have the same feelings. They are also very emotional, sensitive. They love their teachers, and this make everything to be equal. We all will learn. They all will learn at a time how to write, how to speak in their languages, or English or another language. But yes, what is the most important? It's this connection between them and their teachers, because as primary teachers for children, they don't make education only in sharing knowledge, but they also build the how to say, the personality of a student. Yes. So this is mostly important than knowledge we share in primary education.
The final question is that, ma'am, how do you look the Eurocentric approach in the present education system in third world countries, basically the third world countries, that the European mindset will heavy the Orientalistic approach of education?
I don't get your question.
Ma'am, my question is, how do you look the
Yes.
Eurocentric approach of education in Indian or South Asian countries?
European education or Euro?
Eurocentric approach of education.
I still don't get you, but I will try to reply at what I believe I understood. You see, it's a big difference between Asia, Europe, Australia, if you look from one side, yes? Because European people and teachers and students, no, I cannot say they are selfish, but they are professional, very professional in what they are doing. Even in education, in teaching, in learning, they try to find the best solutions and to be professional in everything they do. But not the same thing, it's happened in the third world, where no, they are not unprofessional. No, I cannot say that. They are doing their best. For example, last December, I was organizing a concert for Kakuma students. It's a place where are many students from across their area, but they don't have devices, they don't have even teachers, yes. But there was some people who think about Kakuma students in South Africa and started to do something for them. By own money, by laptops. They find organizations who can help out such of students who has maybe no family, who has no one else who can help them. So after all, education, as I said, you don't means only to share knowledge. Education is much more than this. Education means to create human beings. Yes, and if there are people who raise a hand in order to help such of students, I can say we are human beings as well, and we all together can change the world. No one else. We don't have to accept from others to do something. We must start to do something. As I said, for my neighbor, for my student, for your student. And in this way, in a day, I believe education will be the same everywhere.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you everyone for helping me putting this conference together. Let us conclude. First of all, my big thanks to our speaker, Professor Corina Sujdea, respected Vice Chancellor, IIU. And thank you for your contributions to World Human Sciences and Management Conference and your precious time to share with us. I have to acknowledge the institutional contributions here, in particular Indian Institute of Management Sambalpur, Central University of Odisha and Ravenshaw University. My special thanks to our patrons, Professor Sanjay Naik, Professor Sarath Kumar Polita and Professor Mahadev Joyswal, and the convener of this conference, Professor Chandi Prasad Nanda and Charudat Panigrahi. Special thanks to Dr. Vikram Kesari Jena, Director, Center for ADIVASI Research and Development, Dr. Shubham Das, and Dr. Nupur Patnaik for helping me to carry forward this session. And the entire team of Center for Adivasi Research and Development for supporting and contributing their time and effort to make this conference a grand success. Thank you. Thank you all the participants watching us Facebook and YouTube, and thank you for their questions. Now we should conclude the session. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. Definitely, Center for Adivasi Research and Development will go for future engagements with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for invitation. It was a pleasure and an honor to be with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste, ma'am. Namaste.
Namaste.